when we turn to the Samhita, a study of the Samhita, there are four things that we need to contemplate on. The first thing is the content of the Samhita, the mantra itself. Because this idea of mantra is very, very important. Because whatever comes through a rishi is called mantra. And as we understood, we explored the meaning of the word rishi. We need to know what is a mantra. The word mantra can be interpreted variously. In our local use of the word also, like mantra sometimes has a different meaning. Like वैसे लाइक उसको वो मंत्र पता है, इस चीज का मंत्र उसको पता है. The way it has to be done, the secret of the thing. So mantra is used in the sense of secrecy. The word mantri, like pradhan mantri, mukhya mantri, comes from the word mantra, where the one who has mantra is a mantri. It's not that they are well versed in Veda and Upanishads. They have some other mantra. So their mantra, the house of ministers is called mantralaya. Mantra there, it is mantra is used in the sense of conspiracy and secrecy. It's a house of conspiracy. Yeah, mantra. But here in the context of Samhita, mantra has a very heightened meaning. Mantra is very auspicious, very sacred, very pure. And what reverberates in the pure consciousness when the truth manifests. This well organized rhythmic vibrations, these patterns, through which an experience manifests in the form of words, is called the mantra. Traditionally, it is said mananat trayate iti mantra, that the one who repeats the mantra is protected by the mantra itself. The mantra has the power of protection. Protection from what? Who protects and why this protection is needed? And what kind of protection? We need to understand that. Etymologically, this is what you find in the tradition. But going deep, following the new science of language that has been given to us by Sri Aurobindo, a new philology. So where every word can be separated into its segment, into different components, and then the secret of each segment has to be found out, and then the combined meaning. So from that sense, mantra, the word mantra has two components in it, man and then tra. Man is a root sound, which means to contemplate. Man also refers to mind and all its activities. Whatever the man does like man can consider, man can concentrate, man can contemplate. So every activity of man, means mind, is also a part of the meaning of the word, the root sound man. Tra can be looked at in two different angles. So tra is a suffix in Sanskrit. This suffix in Sanskrit is used in the sense of instrument, tool. For example, like you have yantra, you have netra, The eyes are called netra, comes from the root sound ni. Ni means to lead. It's an instrument or tool which leads. You have patra, a vessel is called patra. Pa means to drink. So it's a tool, it's a sadhan which is used for drinking. Okay, patra. You have vastra, vas. Vas means to cover. Okay. So to cover. That also brings the sense of darkness. Okay. Vas, because it covers everything. When things are covered, you can't see it. So that leads to the sense of darkness. That's why vas also means to vas means darkness. Okay. So in the first hymn also, like you have dosha vastar dhya vasu. Okay. Dosha vastar dhya vasu. Now vas also means to encompass, to cover. So vastra is called vastra because it's a sadhan again to cover ourselves. Vastra. So similarly, mantra is a tool for contemplation. Chhatra, chhatra, chhad also means to cover. So it's a tool, it's a sadhan for covering our head. So mantra is a powerful tool which makes the mind or brings the mind to a state of silence, to a state of contemplation. Tra also has the sense of protection. That's where you have another root sound called trai, prana, trahi. Okay. That means protection. So, protection from what? Because mind in its ordinary nature is in a chaotic state, very diffused chaotic state, like monkeys. So now here, in a fraction of a second, it makes a world tour. Suddenly you will find yourself in Australia. No, it's not good, it's not nice. Let me go to USA, Africa. The whole world tour you make in a fraction of a second. The speed of mind is greater than the speed of light. Greater than the speed of light is the highest speed, which is mind. Durangamam jyotisham jyotireka tanme manam siva sankalpam astu. That's why the Rishi prays that may my mind be quiet and then have good resolution, good thoughts. That's possible only in a silent mind. So, the mantra has the power to protect the mind or liberate the mind from its chaotic state and then brings it to a state of silence. State where the mind has the grahana, dharana and smarana samarthya. Okay, this mantra. Along with the mantra, the tradition says that we have to know the Rishi of the mantra. We discussed about it, like every mantra, every sukta that you find in the Samhita has a Rishi behind it, to whom that mantra is revealed. And the tradition says that as per the tradition, one needs to remember the Rishi to whom the mantra is revealed. Why it is necessary? Because unless and until we get connected with the Rishi's consciousness, we cannot understand what the Rishi is saying. If you want to understand Sri Aurobindo, you have to open yourself to the consciousness of Sri Aurobindo. It's not by intellect that one can understand Sri Aurobindo. More one is open to Sri Aurobindo, more one is close to Sri Aurobindo's consciousness, more deep is the understanding of Sri Aurobindo. The same way, remembering the Rishi to whom the mantra has revealed means to become aware of the presence of that Rishi and then raise ourselves, our consciousness, close to that consciousness of the Rishi, that state of consciousness in which the Rishi has received the mantra. That's why it is important that we remember the Rishi. This remembrance should not be a mechanical remembrance, because, and Sri Aurobindo says this, that only a rishi can understand what another rishi has said. And if you want to understand the rishi vakyam, raise yourself to that state of rishihood. Otherwise, it's not possible. Only rishi can understand another rishi. Tad rishinam rishitva. There lies the rishitva of a rishi. So, you want to understand the Veda, which is a rishi vakya, have to raise yourself to the state of a rishi. So, rishi remembrance. Then, chandas. Chandas is that rhythmic pattern in which the experience has organized itself in the form of a potent sound or the mantra. You have Anushtup, Trishtup, Jagati, Bruhati, the 7 Gayatri. There are these 7 major chandas. Saptavani, Aksharena Mimite, Saptavani. They are measured by the Aksharas. The 7 chandas are measured by the Aksharas that they have. Gayatri has to have 24 syllables. Anushtup has to have 32 syllables. Trishtup has to have, like 11 syllables in each line. That means 44 syllables. So, this is what it chandas. It's important to understand the rhythmic pattern in which the mantra has manifest and then align oneself with that chandas. It's not just reciting Anushtup, a mantra written in Anushtup, but one becomes one with that rhythmic movement. That's why Ucharana, what happens? Ucharana is not just pronunciation, not just articulation. It has very deep meaning. Ut-chara, the soul rising with the mantra. It is the elevation of the soul. The Atman rises with the mantra. That's Ucharana. Ut-charana. Charana means like raising it off. The soul rising with the prayer. That's Ucharana. If there is no rising of the soul, then know that there is something wrong. Technically, one may be very perfect. Like you have a musician, very good instrument. He knows the technique of playing it, but there is no bhava, there is no soul connection. It's a wastage. It doesn't do much. It doesn't have the impact. Yeah, see, when we come to the mantra ucharana, there are various, phases. Like initially it can be Vaikhari, more, loud. Where that loud chanting will bring a perfection in the articulation. So then it has to be Upanshu, then it has to be Manasa. So from the grossmost sound to the subtle and then subtlemost. So in the Vaikhari level, it has to be, like loud enough that I am chanting and then others can listen to it. Then after a long repetition of that Vaikhari, it will lead to a state called Upanshu. Upanshu means like there will be lip movement, but the sound is not audible to others. Like one is reciting to oneself. Then it turns to Manasa. Manasa means like one doesn't repeat the mantra, articulate the mantra, but the mind is in that state of, getting into that rhythmic pattern where the mantra repeats itself in the mind. There is no sound outside. One may be doing so many things in life, but the mantra is getting repeated. And even in the tantric sadhana, they say that someone who has attained to the mantra siddhi, he doesn't repeat, but one can just be close to that person and then hear the humming sound emanating from his entire body. One can hear. Yeah. But to that level of siddhi also, like people have attained. So Vaikhari, Upanshu and Manasa, this same for mantra uchchara or the japa. Then we have with the chandas. Now chandas again, it puts us in touch with the cosmic meter. Cosmic meter, and this is where the rishis have given importance to the chandas. The chandas is not just confined to the metrical patterns that we find in poetry. It's universal. It's there like when we breathe, our heartbeat, our pulse, our breathing pattern. In the nature, you see the planets are orbiting, the seasons are coming one after another. There is a rhythm which regulates everything. That cosmic universal rhythm which regulates everything, puts everything in order, puts everything in the right place, or gives everything its right place, is the chandas. In that sense, chandas is synonymous with rhythm. So that chandas have to be, one has to become aware of like what is the pattern that one is evoking. One is chanting a mantra, whether it is trishtu, whether it is anushtu. So that shows how it has to be chanted, what rhythm one has to align oneself. Yeah, they do not have the chandas that is mentioned here, but they have their own pattern, way of chanting. For example, like if you are chanting a chakra purification mantra using the bija mantras of all the chakras, so there also like a pattern is created. Suppose Mooladhara chakra is long. So you create a pattern, you add a Om to it, repeat Lam into 3 times, add the Kundalini Jagarana mantra Hum to it. So it becomes a pattern Om, Lam, 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 Hum. So you create a chanda out of it. So every sadhak is free to create one's own pattern. How you want to recite the mantra, what helps. Or you can simply say Om Lam. That's all. That's also fine. That's a very difficult thing, especially when you come to the Bija mantra. Here in the Veda, you have a whole list, the record of the rishis. But in the Tantric Bija mantras, it's not recorded, and it's not necessary also to record because it's not something which is a revealed mantra for anyone with a rich content, because these are the fundamental sounds of the creation, so no one takes credit for it. It's not revealed to a particular rishi, it's a day-to-day experience for everyone using the language. These are the fundamental sounds of the universe, fundamental sounds of the entire humanity. It's not specific to any rishi. So that's why Bija mantras have no rishi. You will not find any record that A is revealed to this or I is revealed to this. No. So the chandas. And when we recite a mantra in a particular chandas, remembering the chandas or reciting it in that chandas, we must carry this bhava, or we must make effort that we are transcending from this ordinary to the cosmic. The cosmic meter, ultimately one has to become aware of and well settled in the cosmic meter. So from the normal patterns like music, think of music, it has so many ragas. But ultimately, each raga, what is the purpose of each raga? Each component. Ultimately, these ragas should put us in connection with the cosmic music. So we have this idea of cosmic music, cosmic chanda, cosmic dance. Think of ultimately one has to be one with Nataraja. These different dance patterns must lead to that state of experience. And here, all the chandas, they have to lead towards that cosmic chanda, which is where you don't find any sound in that pattern. There's one. Unity, oneness prevails in that state of cosmic meter. So then everything becomes the lasya, not the tandava but the lasya, the cosmic meter. So remembrance of the chandas. Then every mantra has a devata associated with it. A particular deity is invoked through the mantra, the devata. That devata has to be invoked, remembered, and respect has to be paid to that devata. So one has to know like which devata is invoked here. It's usually in our day-to-day life also, like if I have to call Sushrut, so I have to call him as Sushrut. But my intention is to call Tushar, but I look at Sushrut, so I will not get the response, right? Or I'll say, no, Sushrut is here. Or Indra will refer, no, sorry, you are perhaps invoking Agni, by mistake you are looking at me. So look at Agni is there. Okay. So the particular deity has to be held in the consciousness, held in the mind while invoking through the mantra. Otherwise it won't work, it may not work. So who are these devatas? We have a very different understanding of devatas. And when you come, like the actual understanding of these different gradations, I mean, there are different gradations of devatas. From the most gross-most level to the subtle-most level. There are many devatas. So, devatas belonging to the physical world, devatas belonging to the mental world, the vital world, occult worlds, devatas belong to the supramental world. So, various kinds of devatas you will find. Devatas belonging to the lowest grade, very gross most. So they become satisfied with your prayers and praises, not prayers, praises, dissatisfied with if you don't praise. It's like the normal, like this person even didn't look at me, is not talking to me, is not behaving properly, so I'll see to it. Okay. So the devatas also do it, lowest grade devata. In the highest level, the devatas are all compassionate. Karunamaya, Karuna Varunalaya, right? Karuna Sagar. So the devatas in true sense, or devatas belonging to the highest strata, are very different from the devatas belonging to the lowest strata. Like you have seen the lowest kind of devatas in the movie Kantara. Yeah, you see, it's very vital, getting angry or supporting a particular person, community. They belong to the vital world. Yeah, Grama Devatas belong to the, most Grama Devatas, they belong to the vital. Otherwise, the true Devatas will never get angry with anyone or pleased with anyone. Because Samatva and Ekatva is the key, is the foundation there, is central to it. So the different gradations of devatas you have. But the Vedic deities, because all these Grama devatas and all the things you will not find mentioned in the Vedas. Here, the Vedic devatas, I think for the first time, you find a detailed, practical explanation of the devatas, the Vedic devatas in Sri Aurobindo's Secret of the Veda. Because they all are part of the consciousness, human consciousness. They play different roles in raising human consciousness into the divine consciousness, in transforming the human consciousness. They're very different than the idea of devatas in the Puranic sense. So, say for example, take the first god in the Veda. the very first and foremost Devata is Agni. Then it is Indra, Agni and Indra. But maximum number of hymns are dedicated to Indra. Quantitatively, if you look at the number of hymns, so maximum number of hymns are dedicated to Indra and then Agni. But Agni is the foremost Devata, the first Devata to be invoked. Who is this Agni? Is it merely the physical fire, which is Agni? Which is also Agni, but it is not the Agni. That is the outer aspect of the Agni, real Agni. Following the traditional interpretation and following the interpretation given by Sri Aurobindo, we will see that the word Agni is derived from the root sound Ag. Ag means to move upward. This upward movement is called Ag. Angati. Urdhvam gacchati. It is Agni. Angati. Urdhvam gacchati. That's where you have the word Agra. Agra means upar. Someone who is born before you is called Agraja. A feminine it will be Agraja. Agrabhaga, Vriksha Agra, Parvata Agra, the tip of the mountain. Mandira Agra, the tip of the temple. Agragami, the one who is on the front. So Agni is the first and foremost God, and Agni is that flame which is eternally burning in the center of our being. It is a steady, smokeless flame. Jyoti Riva Adhumaka. That's the description you find in Kathopanishad. The Atman, it refers to the Atman. The Atman which is seen as a Jyoti Riva Adhumaka. The smokeless, steady flame. And that flame again is the leader, the true leader. I'll explain more about it tomorrow when we deal with the first hymn of Rig Veda. So Agni is the true leader. That's why he is called Agni Mile Purohita. He is the Purodha, the Purohita. Stands in front, leads. And what is the leading element in the human consciousness? So like if we want to do something, we want to go somewhere, there is a purpose in life to move forward, move upward. But this movement will not take place unless and until that element is intense. What is that element? Will. Without will, nothing will happen. So, there may be conviction that something can happen. Like I am convinced that I can change. I am convinced that this thing can happen. But I can never change unless and until I will to change. Conviction may be there, but if willingness is not there, the will is not there, and if it is not a strong will, then nothing can happen. The change will not take place. Someone doesn't want to change, doesn't have that will to change. No one can change. Even God will fail to change the person. So will, that will power, that sankalpa shakti is seen as Agni, is worshipped as Agni. So that has to be placed right in front, that will. And when the will is strong, the persistence in will becomes natural to the consciousness. If it is not strong, then it gets affected by the other gunas, rajas or tamas or sattva, and then take a back step, a back seat. So that strong, persistent, pure, divine will is the Agni who is the true leader. It is that evolutionary force. It's seen as the evolutionary force, and Agni, that flame, is seen as as Sri Aurobindo says, the psychic entity, the divine spark, the psychic entity which is in the process on the way of transforming itself into a psychic being. Okay. That divine spark growing into a full-fledged, steady, smokeless flame. That is the whole journey. One has to, that divine spark has to be fully bloomed and then grow into a flame and become the leader of life. That is what is Agni. This.
Has the meaning changed in the Upanishads? For example, in Veda Upanishad, we have the story of Agni, Vayu and everyone.
See, the Upanishads use a different symbolism. The many gods and godheads, many godheads of the Veda, they do not find a place in the Upanishads. Here in the Veda, you can have a personal relationship with Agni or Indra or Varuna, Mitra, Aryama, Bhaga, so many deities, playing so many different roles. But in the Upanishad, you will not find, like now see the transition from the Veda to the Upanishad, or you can say, they were simultaneous also. Like at which stage what needs to be contemplated. So now we know every godhead, Agni, Indra, Mitra, Pashupati, Varuna, Rudra, Aryama, Ribhus, so many. But what is the source of these godheads? Where from they come? Upanishad is more concerned with the supreme Brahman, the impersonal Brahman, which is the source of these godheads also. Upanishad doesn't deal with the separate deities in this form. What matters in Upanishad, and that's why it is called a Brahma Vidya. What matters in the Upanishad is Atma Jnana, Jagat Jnana and Deva Jnana. The self-knowledge, world knowledge and God knowledge. Okay. So that's the difference. You will not find, you find mention of like an Upanishad, you find Vayu, Agni, Indra, they are fighting and then approaching the Yaksha. But that's also symbolic. So sometimes like if the occasion comes, I'll elaborate on that point. But here you will find these different deities. The major ones we'll be discussing about the major ones: Agni, Indra, Mitra, Varuna, Aryama, Bhaga, and some of the Ila, Saraswati, Mahi, Bharati, Sarama, Dakshina. Okay. This Sri Aurobindo says that these are the supramental faculties, supramental deities. Like Dakshina, Sarama, Ila, Saraswati, they belong to the higher cadre of beyond mind. Which one? Yeah. See, when we say the willpower, it is actually it belongs to the pranic state, the higher vital. Higher vital is the source of the pure energy, pure dynamism. It is the source of all kinds of energy. So it belongs to that along with, because mind also has a major role, mind being the higher principle. So it has a major interference and major role to play in strengthening the will. That is why Agni and Indra belongs to the mind. It is the senses and mind. They have to work together. Although, like Agni is described as the Prithvi Devata. Prithvi Devata means like belonging to the Prithvi. Because Agni's maximum work is in the Jada Jagat. Yeah. Agni works more in the physical world, but Agni's presence is at every level of existence, from the most inconscient to the superconscious. There is no layer of existence where Agni is not present. There is nothing which is not in the knowledge of Agni. That's why another name of Agni by which the Rishi addresses to Agni or makes the prayer is Jata Vedas. Jata Vedas can be interpreted in two different ways, taking Ved to know and then Ved to exist. So Jate Vidyate iti Jata Vedas. Like it is there in everything that has manifest. Jate Vidyate Jata Vedas. And Jatam Vetti. It knows everything that has manifest. Jatam Vetti. It Jata Vedas.
It represents human impulses also, isn't it? Like Jataragni.
There are various roles it plays at different level. Okay. Inside and outside. Different role it has. But here Agni, the Agni, when it is invoked as a deity in the mantras, so it refers to that pure flame of aspiration, that pure divine willpower, which leads us on the path of progress. And it doesn't leave, it is always there. And it has the power to intervene. And it has the power to link the human consciousness with the divine consciousness. That's where the mantra, the first hymn itself, like it says that, O Agni, you carry our prayers to other gods and then bring them here in contact with us. Agni plays that role of mediation. It mediates between the divine world and the human world or the physical world. So to this Agni, the Rishis have paid their salutation, their obeisance, their Shraddha, their Bhakti. So paying this tribute to different deities, it actually doesn't mean in the Vedic sense to have some kind of image, some symbol as Agni, and then you offer some flowers or Naivedya or something like that. But manifesting the qualities of that in the human consciousness is the true worship of that. So just few months before, one of my colleagues who was teaching Shakti leadership to a group of students, and then she told me that today is Saturday, I need to go to the Navagraha temple. So is there a temple nearby? I said, yeah, I'll take you. So me and another colleague of mine and then this lady, we all went to the Navagraha temple. So I showed them that this is what happened, but I stayed away from the ritual part. So they were taking, it was Saturday, Kala Dhaga and so many other things, like as the Shani Puja happens. So they did that, and then while coming back, then she told me that, you stayed away, so you are not interested in this kind of rituals. I said, not a question of being interested, but I have a different understanding of these rituals and this puja upachar like that. He said, okay, share that with us. So enlighten us. So I said, like Shani is Shaneshchara. Like if I contemplate on the word, like why it's called Shaneshchara. Shani means slowly, step by step. Shani is not just slowly, but slowly, step by step in a rhythmic manner. Chara is moving. It is the slowest moving planet, and it moves slowly, step by step, and it orbits. It doesn't go beyond the orbit, off the orbit. I said, like if this aspect I can translate into my life, like my life's movement has to be slowly, step by step, rhythmic, not off the orbit, within the Maryada. If that I can translate into my action, that becomes a greatest puja to Shani than putting some kala til and then sarson ka tel and these things. Then you forget about. Then you remember Friday night that tomorrow is Saturday, Shani. And then people carry so much of fear of Shaneshchara. So much of fear that Shani kya kar lega koi, like you don't know what Shani is going to do. So much of fear people carry. Why? This was not Vedic idea at all. Not Vedic idea at all. So it has to be, like you express your love, you translate that into action. That's where, like Sri Aurobindo plays a very important role in bringing back the original idea of worship. Original idea of paying our tribute to the deities. Who are these deities? He always linked it with our own consciousness. So Agni is linked with our willpower. Because without willpower, nothing can happen. More strong is the willpower. Someone can feel that warmth, that say that Baba, this is a firebrand Swami Vivekananda. Okay, you can see the fire. We say he carries the fire with it. The more strong the willpower, more one carries the fire with it. And that person alone has the power to give a clarion call and then awake a whole mass of people. When Vivekananda says, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is achieved. It's a mantra again. And because he carries that fire, this very word still awakens the moment people hear it, come in contact with that. That's the power of mantra. That's what is known as a willpower. That means the Agni is a flame in him, in his consciousness. So, yes. Yeah. Ichha Shakti, through Ichha Shakti, the transformation becomes easy. If the Ichha Shakti is not there, nothing will happen. Actually, the Adya Ichha Shakti, the primordial will, brings out the creation, brings forth the creation. That's why the Ichha, then Jnana, and then Kriya. So, this primordial Ichha Shakti, there is Agni hidden in it. So, because Agni has the knowledge of everything, that's where you find in the Ishopanishad, it says, Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan. Vishwani Vayunani Vidwan. That one who has the knowledge of everything that has manifest in this universe. So because Agni has the knowledge, Agni can put someone in contact with. So you can say, like, if you know that person, please put me in touch with him. Agni can do that. You can name any deity, so Agni knows. So he will put in touch with you. So that's why we said, if there is a will, there is a way. So if you have your willpower, if you just lit that flame, and then Agni will take care, put you in touch with that. Devo Deve Viragama. He comes with other deities. Right. After Agni, we have Indra.
Sir, one question. Do the Navagrahas get reference in the Vedas?
In different senses, not as
Agni, Indra, there are elements of human consciousness. Similarly, if you take Sunny, for example, it indicates the persistence that we perform in our life in order to attain something. Similarly, Shukra has different qualities. These are also elements of human consciousness.
yes. For example, like you have the word Shukra in the Veda. Okay. But if you take Shukra as a graha, okay, Mahagraha, you can say. So it is the brightest one. That's why it's called Shukra. You can see in your open eyes, you can say, oh, here is Shukra, the brightest. So if you are interested to know about it, like after that incident which happened about Sunny, I narrated. So after that colleague of mine said, Sampath, let's have a dialogue about it on YouTube. So let's make it a live lesson. I said, yeah, we'll do that, which has not yet happened. But I have written a full-fledged article on the inner and deeper significances of all the Navagrahas. So it's available on my Medium blog page. You can access to it. So there are around above 80 articles which I have written so far, the short articles on my Medium blog page. Medium.com. Sampadananda, Medium.com. Yeah. There is this Ganapati, which is also worshipped as Brahmanaspati, and Agni. Agni, Brahmanaspati and Ganapati, they belong to the same. That's why you have the Ganesha Puja in the Lokika Upachara. It is the Ganesha. But even in the Lokika Upachara also, like every puja has to begin by lighting the lamp, by the Agni invocation. Without Agni, nothing will begin. So Ganapati plays that role of Agni connected with the Vedic Brahmanaspati. What role the Brahmanaspati played in the Veda, so that role is played by Ganapati, Ganesha, Vigna Vinashaka in the Puranic tradition.
And Ganapati Atharvashishra is from Atharva Veda?
Ganapati Atharvashishra it belongs to, not, I don't know whether it is exactly Atharva Veda. No, it is Vedic. It is Vedic. It's Vedic. So, Agni, the first god, then you have the second, Indra, which is connected with the divine mind, the pure mind. Indra, the word itself is connected with Indriyas. Indra, Indriyas, coming from the root sound Ind. Okay. Now, Ind is the meaning given in the traditional lexicons. You will find Ind is Kledana. Kledana means drenching. Okay. Sprinkling water on something. Ind. So it is the deity who is responsible for the enlightenment and refinement of the mind, taking the mind from its chaotic state to the pure divine state. In the Agni leads in our whole evolutionary journey, and then the Indra prepares the ground by refining the mind. There is a beautiful dialogue. Agastya and Indra dialogue. So where Agastya wants to bypass Indra, bypass Indra means like Agastya doesn't want to get into the whole realm of mind and directly wants to have access to the supermind. Then he is hit by Indra. Then he says like, why are you hitting me with your Vajra? What wrong I am doing? He said, no, you don't do anything wrong. You are doing good thing, but you can't bypass me. I am there on the way to help you. You can't bypass me. So without refining the mind, without invoking Indra, one cannot enter into the higher realms, what lies beyond the mind. That's what you will find, that unless and until the entire consciousness, all the parts of the beings are refined, it's difficult to rise to the higher levels. So most people in the traditional system of yoga or sadhana, you will see that there is one part of the being which is contemplated more and the other parts are completely ignored. Physical is ignored, our vital is ignored. So kya hai wo khana pina sharir? No. And Sri Aurobindo and the mother revived that Vedic idea of integral growth. Every part of the being has to be harmoniously raised to the higher level of consciousness. There is refinement, purity in every level of being, every part of our being, the physical, the vital, the mental and other parts. So, they chopped out, like they say, Bhadram karane bhishrunuyama deva Bhadram pashyema kshaviryadatra sthirairange stushtuvansastanu. If there is no steadiness, there is no strength in the body. So many people, like in the name of maintaining their physical thing, they do dieting, unnecessary dieting, and do not take care of the body properly, do not even have the aesthetic sense. Many people are, what is the use of beautifying oneself? But it's not allowed in the real sadhana. One has to make oneself as beautiful as possible. So that sense of beautiful in the sense that one doesn't have to go to a parlor and then beautify oneself. So that real beauty has to manifest from within. One has to have that awareness of the body. The physical education doesn't mean just to build body. One has to have that physical awareness. So the body awareness has to be there. One is aware of one's own physical consciousness. Same with the vital pranic consciousness. Same with the mental consciousness. That awareness has to be there. So Indra is there to help refining the mind, raising our mind from its ordinary to the pure mind. And in a pure mind, the pure thoughts can take place. And from the pure thought, the pure actions can proceed. This is the process. So invoking Indra means refining the mental consciousness. So Indra, when invoked, it keeps refining the mind. It keeps refining the senses. And Indra becomes more powerful when Soma is offered. Soma refers to delight, bliss, felicity. That is one of the riches, one of the bounties which the Rishis asked for, that gives Soma. Mind always has to be connected with the bliss, the felicity. If mind is always connected with frustration, dejection, all kinds of whatever is opposite to Ananda, then mind can never be raised to its pure level of the divine level. So, more Indra drinks Soma, more Indra becomes powerful and then fights against. We will be discussing more about Indra's role when we talk about the Vedic legends and especially the legend of the Angirasa Rishis tomorrow.
There are a couple of questions. One is, in Jyotisham, moon is related to, moon is the symbol of the mind. Right? So, moon is known by the word Hindu. So, is this root Hindu common?
Yes, common from that.
So this also
Hindu is cool. Like in the Kledana means like it is cool. So in a true sense, mind has to be in a state of cool, like the moon, which is not. In its ordinary state, it is always in a state of aggression, diffused state, chaotic state, like that.
There is a similarity between this Indra Vedic god
Yeah.
and Grahas, Also, the king of the Devas, we know as Indra.
That's in the Puranics.
Is that mapped to this?
Indra becomes the god of rain. Later in the Puranic description, Indra becomes the god of rain. So, in a true sense of Indu Kledan, okay, to drench.
To bring the cooling effect.
Yeah.
Indra is pure, but we are cool.
What?
Indra,
That is dha, not the. Dha. Okay.
somebody lighting the lamp is like allowing the wind to align.
Yeah, initiating, and then aligning, like you take a sankalpa with the lighting of the lamp. Yes.
Gita, we have among the Indriyas, Manas Dasmi, and among the Devas, I am Indra,
Yes.
and Chandrama, Manaso,
Yes.
link is there between Indra, Mana, and
Moon. Yes.
Same names that we read in the Vedas, Vishnu Puran, Shiv Puran, like in the Vedic god Brahmanaspati and the Vinayaka, the Pujas, as per the stories of the Puranas. So, is it the same concept that carries to the Puranic gods, or is it slightly changed? Similar, Soma.
Yeah, the change, say, for example, the change that you see, many people, and that's what I learned from Sri Aurobindo. Many people contemplate on the Puranic sense of the god. We are familiar with that. Okay, Varuna is the god of ocean, Indra is the god of mind, god of rain, and then you have Ashwini Kumar and so many deities like that. But unless and until one understands the Vedic symbolism, the Puranic deities also do not make much sense. That's what Sri Aurobindo said when he came in contact with the Veda for the first time after coming to Pondicherry. He said all the different Puranic concepts which were making lot of confusion became clear after coming in contact with the Veda, the Vedic symbolism. And wherever people talk about the Puranic gods and goddesses and do not refer it to the Vedic symbolism, there is something seriously wrong. The link is missing. So the Vedic symbolism has to be understood. Okay. So Agni, Indra, then you have got 4 deities, which these 4 together they are known as Chatvaru Rajana, the 4 kings, and 4 most important aspects of human consciousness. Those 4 are Mitra, Varuna, Aryama and Bhaga. Now the word Mitra, the word Varuna, Aryama and Bhaga, we will explore their true sense. But in the Veda you will find Mitra and Varuna, they are hymned together. Mitra Varuno. Wherever you will find Mitra, you will find Varuna. Or Varuna, you will find Mitra. So rarely you will find mantras where these 2 are independently invoked. So who is Mitra, who is Varuna? A sun is one of the meanings, but the word Mitra, the deity Mitra, it belongs to, like Mitra, Aryama, they belong to the Agni category. Okay, but they are different. So Mitra is that element of harmony and friendliness conquered in the Veda. So in our consciousness, when Mitra is invoked, so it works out the manifestation of harmony, friendliness, comfort, alignment. Because disharmony, anything which creates the sense of enmity and division, these are foreign to Mitra. So that power of consciousness, or that aspect of human consciousness which works out the harmony, friendliness, alignment, is the Mitra element in the consciousness. That's why a friend in Sanskrit is called Mitra. And it also is connected with Agni, which brings this universal well-being. So sun also becomes another meaning of Mitra, because with the rise of the sun, because of the existence of the sun, the well-being of the universe is maintained. Without sun, nothing is maintained. No well-being one can think of without Surya. And Varuna, though in the Puranas it is mentioned that he is the god of oceans, which in a true sense, that Puranic sense of ocean god can be understood when we contemplate on Varuna in the Veda as the deity of largeness and vastness, infinite, Anantya. Varuna brings this largeness. It works out the expansion of the consciousness. So, Mitra and Varuna, they work together, and their working together brings a harmonious growth of the human consciousness, which is instrumental in enlightening and illumining the thought, illumining the Dhi. If there is no harmonious growth of the consciousness, the illumination of Dhi, what is aspired by the aspirants, is not possible. That's why the mantra says, Mitram huve putadaksham varunancha rishadasam dhyam ghrutachim sadhanta. Mitram huve. I invoke the power of Mitra. Putadaksha, the one who is capable of bringing purity, working out the purity. Mitram huve putadaksham varunam cha rishadasam. And Varuna, who is capable of killing all our enemies. Who are our enemies? Shadripu. Not outer enemies, the inner enemies. The Shadripu, the 6 inner enemies. The 6 dangerous animals that we keep feeding and nurturing in our consciousness. That the Mitra and Varuna, they are capable of killing. So these animals, dangerous animals, they become powerful only, or they become nurtured and powerful only when there is limitation in the consciousness, narrowness in the consciousness. In an expanded consciousness, these animals cannot live. There is no possibility of these animals to be there. So that expansion and growth and largeness is worked out by Varuna. So Mitram huve putadaksham varunancha rishadasam dhyam ghrutachim sadhanta. And both of them, they accomplish the task of refining and illumining the Dhi, the Ghrutachi Dhi, the illumined Dhi. Because that was the highest gain again of the Vedic Rishis, to attain to that illumined state of illumined Dhi, so then the action can be perfected, action can be illumined action. So Varuna,
Like you said, Tra is the protector in terms of its meaning. Does Mitra also have this?
yeah, it can be like mid is the root sound. Mid. Mid means to comfort someone, to be happy. So Mitra. So it can be like something which facilitates that comfortability in doing that. So after Mitra Varuna we have Aryama. Aryama is the force, is the Devata who is works out the urge to move forward, the natural urge of human consciousness for moving forward, not stepping back, is the force of Aryama. It's again connected with the Agni, with Surya. So the force which always creates that urge to move forward moving. Yes, it is connected with willpower, that's why it belongs to the Agni family. So, moving forward, not stepping back, like a hero warrior, never steps back. That's Aryama. And even the will to live. See, however great the pain may be, no one on the earth wants to die. Even if for few hours more, one wants to live. What creates that sense? Aryama. Aryama creates that sense that yes, life has to move forward. One has to go. Because there is some rasa in life, some ananda in the life. So which needs to be fulfilled. Aryam, yes, comes from the root sound ar, from which you get Arya, from which you get Ari. So Arya means the noble one who moves forward. Arya means the strong one, the noble one, the aspiring one who aspires to move forward.
There's many parallels with Mars. If you look at the qualities, right? Moving forward, the strong desire to move forward. It's kind of very similar to the Mangal. Actually, there is a concept of Swadesh, Savitru, Surya, and Aryaman are all.
Mitra, they belong to that.
But Ari also means enemy.
Enemy, yes. The enemy doesn't step back, it moves forward to kill. So you can even find, like, this is the beauty of Sanskrit again, you will find the most opposite meanings in the same word. The same word referring to light and darkness. Because it represents a complete experience. Your experience of light is not complete without the experience of darkness.
In the Gita, we have Pitronam, Aryama as the same as he is allowing the Pitas also to move forward.
Yes, to move forward.
Because Aryaman is also
Same.
Forward or upward?
Forward.
Upward.
Upward is Agni's work, the will. It has to move forward, not to step back. Not to step back.
So it kind of symbolizes the energy.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
The will to move forward and achieve something. So it's kind of rajasic in nature.
Pure Rajasic, you can say, the pure dynamism, you can say. Now comes the last in the four is Bhaga. The word Bhaga or the deity Bhaga in the Veda is the force which facilitates the true enjoyment of Ananda. Now see, the entire creation comes from Ananda, lives in Ananda, and finally merges in Ananda. But our day-to-day experience in the world doesn't confirm this. Okay. So people will say, what is it? Everything comes from Ananda, and then what about this world? Buddha said, like the tears which have flown from human eyes because of the dukkha. So if they were accumulated at one place, they would have crossed 7 oceans. And here you say that everything is Ananda. So in a true sense, the Ananda is ever existent, equally available for everyone. But depending upon the degree of the expansion of consciousness, one experiences the Ananda only that much. And Bhaga was the deity in the Veda which facilitates the true enjoyment of Ananda, the delight in everything. Bhagavan comes from Bhaga, Bhaj. It comes from Bhaj. Bhaj means to worship, to adore. Also, like enjoyment of the delight. Yes, Bhagyam comes from here. Subhaga is another deity or the name or the epithet in the Veda. So, see the prominent word Bhagavan and Bhagavati in the Sanatan, they are absent in the Vedic text. In the Veda, you will hardly find the use of the word Bhagavan or Bhagavati. Yeah, you won't find much. Yes, Bhagavan means like one who is full of a Bhaga. Bhagavati will be the feminine form of it. Because Bhagavan is Anandamaya or Bhagavati is Anandamayi, the full of Ananda. So they hold the supremacy here. This is the supreme Bhagavan. But the word Bhagavan and Bhagavati not popular in the Veda. It's a later word. I don't say that it is absolutely absent in the Vedic texts. Yeah, but not in the, so yes, yeah. But the way we use it in the Puranic sense of Bhagavan and Bhagavati so frequently, you will not find it. But the idea of Bhaga is very prominent, the enjoyment of the delight. So the world is created for enjoyment, has to be enjoyed in a true sense, but one has to know and understand the art and science of enjoyment. So Bhaga facilitates that art and science of enjoying the true delight of existence. Then you have, after this, you have so many other deities. You have Pashupati, you have Rudra, you have Marudgana, you have Ila, Saraswati, Mahi, representing truth, audition, truth, vision, truth, inspiration, and some of the deities which I will explain when we do with the Vedic legends, more of those. But here the Vedic godheads, they represent in their esoteric sense the different parts of human consciousness, and then they help. Their invoking those deities means to facilitate the process of or invoking their help in the refinement of the consciousness. So they are part of the human consciousness. They are all there. Like we say now, the Go Mata. All the devatas reside in Go Mata. What does it mean? So all the devatas reside in us also. We need to, so when we invoke, so we are awakening that part in our consciousness. We are allowing that part to manifest in our consciousness. Invoking Agni, we allow the willpower to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. Invoking Indra means we allow that power of the pure mind to manifest in our consciousness. Invoking Bhaga will be we are allowing that aspect, that power to manifest in our consciousness, which facilitates the true enjoyment of delight. So this is what was the Vedic idea of the deities, different deities. Yeah. No. Yeah. There are so many mantras. So many mantras for Ariyama. Every deity will have a mantra.
It's not very prevalent, and it is from all the
Yeah.
other one people I never heard.
But the name has power too, right? So if
Yeah.
you know the mantras, yes, but you don't, yes, you can meditate for something because of the name.
True.
Is Vayu not part of this family?
Yes. Vayu is there. Marudgana is there.
Vayu is in the same category as Varun?
Yes.
Vastness.
Yes. Vayu here is the different movements, different forces, pranic forces.
Why does the Varga gave us the theme again? This Varga and
The Bharga and Bhaga, they are different. Bharga means light.
Varga is like
The animals. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the Shad-ripus.
You mentioned about Bharati is also one of the deities.
Yes,
So
Bharati.
Ila, Saraswati,
Mahi, Bharati.
Mahi and Bharati. So, just my person very, I am feeling that we say when Vedic deity Bharati is there, why do we always tell in history it is from the Bharat king that Bharat is named?
That is one way of looking at
Looking
it.
at it is okay.
Rakshedam Bharatam Janam.
That is in the Mahabharata.
No. In the Veda itself, Vishwamitra, says Rakshedam Bharatam Janam. So protect this Bharata Jana. Yes, Bharata word it is.
So it's not to Mahabharata time. No, just because there were a lot of articles in doing this point.
Yeah, there are so many things floating.
Mentioned in the
Yes,
Vedas.
absolutely.
So we talk about willpower, strength of the mind, the capability to move forward. But along with all this, the intellect faculty is also important. Right? So is there a devata allocated for that?
Surya, Agni, Indra. Like most devatas are invoked to refine the day, because everyone has a role to play in the illumination of the day. The illumination cannot happen if there are limitations in any part of the consciousness. That's why every deity is responsible for the illumination of the day. Surya is invoked for that, Indra is invoked for that, Mitra Varuna are invoked for that. Yes.
So we all have some delight, all delight, but still human beings are having soul and some narrowness of the
Consciousness. Yes. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. And the 6 animals associated with this is Kama, is Chakravaka, Krodha is wolf, Bhediya, Lobha is vulture. Moha is owl. Mada is Garuda, Suparna. Matsarya is dog. Chakravak is, Chakor Chakua. Chakor Chakua. Huh? Chakor Chakua. It's a bird.
But the delight we talk about transcends pain and pleasure.
Yeah. It transcends, it has to, otherwise it's not a delight.
We are not talking about pleasure, we are talking about something that
I missed the Chakravarti.
It's a bird.
What? Is it eagle?
No. It's a twin birds, you can say. Yeah, we say. Yes. They are mostly on the river beds, and when the evening comes, they biologically, so they have to separate, the male and female, they have to separate from each other. They turn their faces against each other and then start crying, yelling. And when the day breaks, they don't want to leave each other for a moment. That's where the kama. Okay, so we take a tea break.
Exactly what happens in English translation. Joy, pleasure, happiness, all these words, The Sanskrit has got a very proper etymological, like whether Ananda is of the consciousness of the higher. Can we get some small list of words in
We'll do that.
Please in the class. Because all this is English translation.
So we little silence.